Happiness is one of those concepts that everyone seems to seek, but few truly define. Isn't that something? We chase it, yet we rarely pause to ask what it means for us personally. Happiness isn't something you postpone for the future. It's something you design for the present. You see, happiness is a craft, not a coincidence. It's not just about what happens to you, but about how you respond, how you shape your thoughts, and how you approach life itself. Now, here's the big question. How do we find this elusive happiness? Is it buried in a treasure chest somewhere? Does someone else hold the key? Or perhaps, is it something that's been within our reach all along? I believe happiness begins with self-awareness. It begins with understanding your values, your passions, and the simple joys that light up your soul. It's cultivated step by step, like tending a garden. You pull the weeds of negativity, plant seeds of gratitude, and nurture them with daily habits. But here's what we often forget. Happiness is personal. What fills your cup might not fill mine. And yet there are some universal principles, tried and true, that can guide anyone on the journey toward a happier life. These principles aren't theories. They're practical steps you can implement today, tomorrow, and every day thereafter. I want to take you through 5 of them. 5 ways to find happiness in life that I've seen work for so many. As we go through each one, I want you to reflect, adapt, and see how you can make these ideas your own. So the first way to find happiness in life is to practice gratitude. You've heard the phrase, I'm sure, count your blessings. But have you ever really done it? And I don't mean a fleeting thought about being thankful. I mean truly taking the time to reflect on all the good in your life. Being grateful is one of the simplest, yet most profound ways to shift your perspective, and in turn, your happiness. Think about this. How often do we focus on what we don't have, on what's wrong? It's easy to get caught up in the comparison game, looking at someone else's life and thinking, if only I had what they have, then I'd be happy. Tell me, when was the last time you stopped and appreciated what you already have? The roof over your head, the meals on your table, the people in your life who care about you. It's easy to take these things for granted. Yet these are the things many people in the world long for. When I was younger, I learned the power of being grateful the hard way. I used to think happiness was tied to success, money in the bank, a thriving business, recognition. And while those things are wonderful, they're not the root of happiness. I remember a day when one of my mentors asked me, "What are you grateful for today?" I was stumped. I couldn't think of much beyond the surface. He said, "That's the problem. You're looking too far out there. Start small." That night, I wrote down 10 things I was grateful for. The warmth of my home, the lessons I'd learned from failures, even the sunrise I hadn't paid much attention to earlier that morning. And do you know what happened? My mindset started to shift. Being grateful creates a sense of abundance. It reminds you that you already have more than enough to be happy. Here's a simple practice to make gratitude a habit. Start each day by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be monumental. Small joys count just as much. Over time, this practice rewires your brain to look for the good in every situation. And sometimes there are moments when life feels overwhelming, when it seems like there's nothing to be thankful for. I'll tell you this. Even in tough times, there's always something to appreciate. Perhaps it's the lesson hidden in the struggle or the strength you didn't know you had. Being grateful doesn't mean ignoring your challenges. It means finding the silver lining within them. One of my favorite stories about gratitude comes from a farmer I once met. He didn't have much in terms of wealth. His farm was small, his income modest. Yet he was one of the happiest people I'd ever met. I asked him his secret, and he said, "Every evening, I sit on my porch and count my blessings. The stars, the quiet of the night, the fact that I get to do work I love, even if it's hard. When I focus on these things, I feel rich." That stuck with me. Happiness isn't about how much you have. It's about how much you appreciate what you have. Being grateful also strengthens relationships. When you express gratitude to others, it deepens your connection and brings more joy into your life. When was the last time you said, "Thank you," and really meant it? To your spouse, your friend, your coworker. A simple thank you can brighten someone's day and your own. I challenge you to make gratitude your default setting. The next time you're stuck in traffic, instead of fuming, be grateful for the car that gets you where you need to go. The next time it rains, instead of complaining, be grateful for the water that nourishes the earth. This shift in perspective isn't just about feeling good in the moment. It's about creating a lasting foundation for happiness. Gratitude is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And as it strengthens, so does your sense of contentment. So start today. Count your blessings, no matter how small they seem. Because happiness isn't out there waiting for you to find it. It's already here in the little moments, waiting for you to notice. The second way to find happiness in life is to pursue meaningful goals. You see, happiness isn't just about feeling good in the moment. It's about having a sense of purpose, a reason to get up in the morning. Goals give our lives direction. They give us something to strive for, something to grow into. Without them, we drift. And when we drift, we often feel lost. A meaningful goal is like a guiding star. It doesn't just show you where to go. It fills your journey with purpose and fulfillment. Now, not all goals are created equal. Some people set goals based purely on what others expect of them, chasing someone else's dream instead of their own. Have you ever done that? If your goals don't align with your values, no amount of achievement will bring happiness. That's why the first step is to discover what truly matters to you. Ask yourself, what excites me? What kind of person do I want to become? What legacy do I want to leave? These aren't questions to answer in a rush. They require time and reflection. But once you know what matters to you, you can start setting goals that bring genuine fulfillment. I'll share a story about a man I once met. He was incredibly wealthy, had everything you could imagine in terms of material success. But when I asked him if he was happy, he hesitated. He said, "I feel like I've climbed to the top of the ladder, only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall." That's what happens when you chase goals that aren't truly meaningful to you. The achievement feels hollow. On the other hand, when your goals align with your passions and values, the journey itself becomes a source of happiness. Now here's the next piece. Break your goals down. Sometimes people set these massive, daunting goals so big they don't even know where to begin. And because they don't know where to begin, they don't start at all. Have you ever done that? You dream big but feel stuck because the dream feels out of reach. Here's the secret. Big dreams are achieved through small steps. Break your goal into manageable pieces. Focus on what you can do today to move closer. Progress, no matter how small, generates momentum, and momentum generates happiness. Another key is to stay flexible. Life has a way of throwing curveballs, doesn't it? You set out on a path, and then something unexpected happens. That's why it's important to review and adjust your goals as you grow and as circumstances change. Flexibility doesn't mean giving up on your dreams. It means finding new ways to pursue them. But here's something we don't talk about enough. Not all goals are about accomplishment. Some of the most meaningful goals are about who you become in the process. If your goal is to become a better parent, that's not a goal you check off a list. It's a lifelong journey of learning, patience, and love. The same goes for goals related to character, becoming more patient, more compassionate, more courageous. These are the goals that shape who you are, and they bring a deeper kind of happiness. One of the most powerful ways to pursue meaningful goals is to write them down. There's something about putting pen to paper that makes a goal feel real. It's no longer just a thought in your head, it's a commitment. And once you've written it down, keep it somewhere visible, on your desk, your mirror, your fridge. Let it serve as a daily reminder of what you're working toward. And you also need to celebrate progress. Too often we wait until we've achieved the final goal to feel happy. But happiness isn't just in the destination, it's in the journey. When you hit a milestone, no matter how small, take a moment to celebrate. Acknowledge your progress. It's these small wins that keep you motivated and remind you that you're on the right path. Share your goals with someone you trust. There's something about accountability that keeps you moving forward. It could be a mentor, a friend, or even a group of like-minded people. When you share your goals, you invite support and encouragement into your journey. Pursuing meaningful goals isn't just about reaching the finish line. It's about living a life of intention, a life that reflects what truly matters to you. When you wake up each day with a sense of purpose, happiness becomes not just a possibility, but a natural outcome. Next, the third way to find happiness in life is to cultivate meaningful relationships. You see, happiness isn't something we achieve in isolation. It grows in the soil of connection, in the bonds we form with others. Relationships are one of the greatest sources of joy and fulfillment. But here's something we must remember. Not all relationships are created equal. Some lift us up, while others pull us down. Some add to our happiness, while others seem to drain it away. That's why cultivating meaningful relationships isn't just about surrounding yourself with people. It's about surrounding yourself with the right people. You have to start with the foundation, quality over quantity. Have you ever heard someone boast about how many friends they have? They might have dozens of acquaintances they call friends, but still feel lonely. Why? Because the depth of a relationship matters far more than the number of them. A single genuine connection, one person who truly understands you and supports you, is worth more than a crowd of superficial friendships. Think about your own relationships. Who are the people who make you feel seen, heard, and valued? Who are the ones who challenge you to grow and become the best version of yourself? These are the people to cherish. And who, on the other hand, might be pulling you in the wrong direction? Sometimes, for the sake of our happiness, we need to create boundaries or even let go of relationships that no longer serve us. Here's a key principle about relationships. They thrive on communication. How often do we assume that others know what we're thinking or feeling? How often do misunderstandings arise because we didn't take the time to communicate clearly? Genuine connection requires honesty, vulnerability, and the courage to speak your truth. But it also requires listening, not just hearing, but truly listening. Listening to understand, not to respond. I learned this lesson early in my life. There was a time when I was so focused on my work and ambitions that I neglected the people closest to me. I assumed they understood why I was busy. But one day a friend said to me, "Success is great, but don't let it cost you the relationships that matter most." That hit me hard. It reminded me that success and happiness are empty if you don't have people to share them with. One of the best ways to deepen your relationships is to invest time in them. Time is the most valuable thing you can give someone because it's the one thing you can't get back. Take the time to call a friend, have dinner with your family, or simply sit with someone who needs your presence. It doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be genuine. And you got to be kind. Simple acts of kindness can transform a relationship. A kind word, a thoughtful gesture, a willingness to help, these small actions create trust and warmth. They show people that you care, and when people feel cared for, they're more likely to reciprocate that care. Kindness is contagious. The more you give, the more you receive. Another powerful way to cultivate meaningful relationships is to practice forgiveness. No relationship is perfect. There will be misunderstandings, disagreements, and hurt feelings. But holding on to grudges only creates distance and bitterness. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning someone's behavior. It means choosing to let go of the anger and resentment that weigh you down. When you forgive, you free yourself to move forward. I once knew a man who, on the surface, seemed to have it all: success, wealth, influence. But he told me that he felt a deep emptiness inside. When we talked further, he realized that he had neglected his relationships. He had chased his career at the expense of his family and friends. So he made a decision to reconnect. He started calling his siblings, spending weekends with his children, and reaching out to old friends. Over time, he told me that his life felt richer and more meaningful than ever before. His happiness didn't come from acquiring more. It came from reconnecting with the people who mattered most. Remember that relationships aren't just about what you can get. They're about what you can give. Be the kind of friend, partner, or family member you wish to have. Offer support without expecting anything in return. Be present when someone needs you. Celebrate their wins and stand by them in their struggles. When you approach relationships with the spirit of giving, you create a ripple effect of love and connection that comes back to you in ways you never imagined. Meaningful relationships are the backbone of a happy life. They provide us with support, joy, and a sense of belonging. So nurture them, protect them, and most importantly, appreciate them. Because in the end, the quality of your relationships will define the quality of your life. Next, the fourth way to find happiness in life is to live in the present moment. Now, this may sound simple, even obvious, but I'm telling you, it's one of the hardest things to do consistently. We live in a world full of distractions, obligations, and thoughts that pull us in every direction, but the one that matters, the here and now. Yet happiness, true happiness, exists only in the present. It doesn't live in the past, and it's not waiting for you in the future. It's right here, ready to be experienced, if you allow it. You see, too many people spend their lives stuck in the past. They replay old mistakes, hold on to regrets, and dwell on what could have been. On the other hand, some live entirely in the future. They're always planning, always waiting for that someday when life will finally be perfect. Have you ever caught yourself saying, I'll be happy when the promotion comes, when the kids are grown, when I retire? But here's the truth. If you're always waiting for happiness, it'll always be just out of reach. Living in the present moment is about letting go of those mental chains, those ties to the past and future, and embracing what's happening right now. And I'm telling you, the present moment is a gift. In fact, that's why we call it the present. Now, how do we do this? How do we cultivate presence in our daily lives? It starts with awareness. Awareness of your thoughts, your surroundings, and your emotions. Most of us operate on autopilot, going through the motions without truly engaging with the world around us. Have you ever driven somewhere and realized you couldn't even remember the journey? That's autopilot. Living in the present means switching off autopilot and taking control of your attention. One of the simplest ways to practice this is to focus on your senses. Right now, wherever you are, take a moment to notice what you can see, hear, smell, and feel. Listen to the sounds around you, the hum of life that's always present but often overlooked. Notice the textures under your fingertips, the rhythm of your breath. These small, mindful actions anchor you in the moment and remind you of life's richness. Speaking of the breath, don't underestimate its power. Breathing is something we do unconsciously, but when you make it a conscious act, it becomes a tool for grounding yourself. Try this. The next time you feel your mind racing, pause and take 3 deep breaths. Inhale slowly, hold it for a moment, and exhale. You'll feel a sense of calm, a return to the now. Living in the present also means accepting life as it is. Sometimes we resist the present because it's not what we expected or wanted. But resisting reality only creates suffering. When you accept what is without judgment, you find peace. That doesn't mean you have to love every moment, but it does mean recognizing that each moment has value. Now, here's something to reflect on. The people in your life. How often are you truly present with them? When you're with someone, are you fully there, or is your mind elsewhere? One of the greatest gifts you can give someone is your presence, your undivided attention. It strengthens your relationships and creates deeper connections. Living in the present isn't just about being happy in the moment. It's about building a life filled with meaningful moments. Each day, you have the opportunity to pause, to appreciate, and to engage fully with the world around you. When you do, happiness isn't something you have to chase. It's something you naturally experience. Next, the 5th way to find happiness in life is to give back. There is a deep and lasting joy that comes from contributing to something beyond yourself. When you give, you tap into a sense of purpose that goes far beyond personal gain. Giving connects us to others, to the world, and to our higher selves. It's one of the surest paths to true happiness. Now think about it. Why is giving so powerful? It's because it shifts the focus away from ourselves. So often unhappiness comes from being overly absorbed in our own problems, our own desires, our own struggles. But when you give, you step outside of yourself. You start thinking about what others need, what you can offer, and how you can make a difference. And in that shift of focus, you discover a sense of fulfillment that's hard to find any other way. I once heard the story of a man who had fallen on hard times. He had lost his job and was struggling to make ends meet. But instead of dwelling on his situation, he decided to spend a few hours each week volunteering at a local soup kitchen. At first, he thought it would just be a way to pass the time. What he didn't expect was how much it would change his perspective. Seeing others who were facing challenges of their own reminded him of his own strength and resilience. Giving back not only lifted his spirits, it reignited his hope and motivation. This idea of giving doesn't always have to involve grand gestures. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness have the greatest impact. A smile, a compliment, a helping hand. These simple actions can brighten someone else's day and, in turn, brighten your own. Have you ever noticed how good it feels to make someone else happy? That's the magic of giving. It creates a ripple effect. When you give joy, you receive joy. It's as simple as that. Now, here's an important point. Giving isn't just about material things. Sure, donating money or resources can make a big difference, but some of the most meaningful ways to give don't cost a dime. You can give your time by volunteering or simply being present for someone who needs support. You can give your knowledge by teaching or mentoring. You can give encouragement by believing in someone when they don't yet believe in themselves. These gifts are priceless, and their impact can be profound. Early in my career, when I was just starting to find my way, a mentor took me under his wing. He didn't have to. There was nothing in it for him. But he gave me his time, his wisdom, and his belief in my potential. That gift changed my life. It taught me the importance of paying it forward. Over the years, I've tried to do the same for others, to give what was so generously given to me. And I'm telling you, the joy of seeing someone you've helped succeed is one of the greatest rewards in life. Another powerful way to give back is through gratitude. Gratitude, when expressed outwardly, becomes a gift to others. Think about the last time someone thanked you sincerely. How did it make you feel? When you take the time to thank the people who've helped you, supported you, or inspired you, you're giving them a gift that strengthens your connection and lifts both of your spirits. When you give, it has a huge impact on your community. When you contribute to the well-being of your community, you help create an environment where happiness can thrive. Communities that are built on mutual support and generosity are stronger, more resilient, and more joyful. But here's a question to ponder. How do you balance giving with taking care of yourself? You see, giving shouldn't come at the expense of your own well-being. It's not about sacrificing everything you have until there's nothing left. It's about finding ways to give that energize you rather than deplete you. When you give from a place of abundance, you create a cycle of giving and receiving that benefits everyone involved. You can't pour from an empty cup. So take care of yourself first, then give from the overflow. When you do, your giving will come from a place of joy rather than obligation. And that joy is what makes it so powerful. Giving back reminds us of our interconnectedness. We're all part of a larger whole, and our actions have a ripple effect that reaches far beyond what we can see. When you give, you contribute to that larger whole. You play your part in creating a better world. And in doing so, you find a sense of belonging and purpose that's deeply fulfilling. So find ways to give, big or small, public or private, planned or spontaneous. Your acts of giving will enrich not only the lives of others, but your own life as well. Because in the end, happiness grows when it's shared. So when we put all of these things together, happiness emerges not as some distant destination, but as a journey made up of intentional choices. Each of the principles we've explored serves as a stepping stone on this path. These aren't just abstract ideas. They're habits, ways of thinking, and actions you can integrate into your daily life. Happiness isn't about perfection. It's not about having everything go your way all the time. Life will have its challenges, its ups and downs, its moments of uncertainty. But happiness is about how you respond. It's about choosing to see the good, to embrace the journey, and to focus on what truly matters. Now take a moment to reflect on where you are today. What areas of your life bring you the most joy? Where do you feel the need for change or growth? Happiness is within your grasp, but it requires action. It requires commitment to yourself and to the principles that lead to a fulfilled life. And remember, this isn't a race. You can start small, one step at a time, one habit at a time. The beauty of these principles is that they're interconnected. When you're grateful, it strengthens your relationships. When you set meaningful goals, it gives you a reason to live in the present. When you give back, it reinforces your sense of gratitude. Each step supports the others, creating a life that feels whole and balanced. As you move forward, keep this in mind. Happiness is not something you seek. It's something you create. It's not something the world gives you. It's something you bring to the world. And it's not reserved for the lucky few. It's available to all who choose to embrace it. The question is, will you choose it? Will you take what you've learned and put it into practice? If you do, I promise you this. The happiness you find will not just enrich your life, but the lives of everyone around you. So begin today. Start where you are, with what you have, and take that first step. Happiness is waiting for you. Not somewhere out there, but right here, in the choices you make every day.